In this video, we will cover the installation of Marley's universal Rake Verge system. This easy-to-install, maintenance-free, no-mortar system can be used with any tile profile to finish off gable ends. To achieve alignment of cut roof battens, to ensure that the verge counter batten can be fitted flush with the roof battens, strike a chalk line from the top batten to the first tiling batten. You will cut back all roof battens on both sides of the roof slope, except for the roof tilting batten, in accordance with the desired overhang of the roof.
Okay, there are some detail that we just need to explain when it comes to the Rake Verge batten. So when you fit it with the Marley Modern, the Double Roman and the Ludlow, or basically all profiles except the Monarch, you need to ensure that this batten here is placed flush with your roof tile batten. So you see it sits like that. But in the case of the Marley Monarch, it needs to sit flush at the bottom. Because the Monarch has got a bold roll, you need to ensure that you offer a little bit more support on the side, and that's why you then lift it like that. But because we're working with Marley Moderns, we are going to install it this way. The other detail I also want to explain is you'll see that we didn't cut our batten on edge. The reason for that is that your first Rake Verge tile needs to have a little bit of like a tilt to support it so that it doesn't droop. So what we do is if you do not use a fascia board, we leave this batten longer, then we are going to measure out 25 millimeters from the edge here out, and then we will cut this, and that should be sufficient tilt that it can provide to your Rake Verge.
Here is an example of what happens when a 25mm tilt is not provided by either the tilting batten or the fascia board. As you can see, the first Rake Verge is not in alignment with the ones above it. Here is an example of how a fascia board is used to create the 25mm tilt at the start to compensate for the overlap and to obtain the correct alignment. Though the minimum specification for verge counter battens is a 38 by 50mm, a 38 by 76mm is stronger and more popular choice.
Okay, so we've now fixed our Rake Verge batten. In the end, we actually decided to go with a 76 by 38 simply because we had more wood to complete the job, but it doesn't really matter. So in terms of installing the first tile, you start at the bottom course, and all you do is you just position the first tile at the bottom, make sure that it butts up against your second course. And then if you do not have a gutter or fascia board, what you would do is you would then mark this so that you can cut off this edge. But if you do have a fascia with a gutter, it's a good idea to leave this and not cut it, because as your fascia board sits here with your gutter, it conceals it from that side. So it will actually make your roof look a lot nicer from an aesthetic point of view. So yeah, all that we now need to do is we can then fix it with our 75mm screws, and we will continue right until we get to the apex, where we will then measure it and we will cut it so that it aligns nicely at the top.
As mentioned, it is crucial to fix Rake Verge tiles with non-corrodable screws or serrated nails to prevent pull-out of these tiles. You will also notice that Marley Rake Verge has nailing holes on both sides, which means that the Marley Verge tile can be used on the left and the right side of gable ends. Once you have reached the apex, you will not have a course of tiles left for the top verge to butt up against. To position the last tile so that it is spaced the same distance as the ones below, measure the spacing on the verge below and mark this position on the second large verge tile from the top. This provides the correct starting point for the last verge tile and the point at which you need to miter the tile to create a junction at the apex with the end ridge tile. Tiles are mitered on site according to the roof pitch. If the roof is fitted with Marley dry ridge system, the mitered and fixed tiles can be left as is. If mortar bedding is used, the mitered verge tiles are bedded with the end ridge or terminal ridge to form a neat and secure junction. That concludes our last video for a while as part of our How to Tile a Roof from Scratch series. Be sure to check out our other playlists for more weekly content.